What do we make of Marc Guéhi saying there's no pressure on us at all? Do you think he's trying to play a bit of mind games, Charlie?
Yeah. I love it. It just adds to this rivalry. I mean, I would go back to that 1998 World Cup and seeing Simeone and Beckham and 2000. It just felt like in that time frame from 98 to 2002, 2006, in these big moments, England and Argentina were forces. And now we're getting the opportunity. This is the first time Lionel Messi's playing against England. So I love the fact that you're saying, hey, the pressure's on them. They're the defending World Cup champions, where England's all about it's coming home. So you have to take it to Argentina. And by the way, Argentina have shown that they have faults. Teams have gotten up on them. You look at that Cape Verde game. That was incredible. Egypt, that game was incredible. They've given opponents opportunities and chances to put them away. England, I think if you give them those opportunities and they fall to Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham, I think this game will be a different story.
There's so much pressure on this English team all the time. They have to play to these sometimes unreachable standards and expectations. And for once in this particular game, I think they are the underdogs. And I think they're going to thrive in that underdog role. Yeah, I mean, his reaction, Marc Guéhi's reaction, looked genuine. Like, what are you talking about? There's no pressure on us at all. And if that's the mood that's permeating throughout the whole team, I think that's a good spot for England to be in, because there are a lot of vulnerabilities in this Argentina team.
I would say that they were also underdogs playing against Mexico at the Azteca, too. And they were able to... No, you don't think so?
No.
Oh, I think so. Playing in that environment with that Mexican team that had just come off of the game they played prior, they were in front of their home fans. Their fans were like, yeah, we're going to go out in front of the hotel and not let England sleep a wink the night before. No, maybe not in terms of footballing and on paper, but in terms of the environment that England was walking into, they were the underdogs in that game. And they thrived in that environment, that really hostile environment.
Jimmy, you know, you said they're kind of coming into this one with that underdog mentality. Is that similar to what we saw yesterday with Spain?
In some ways, yes, because when we talked about it earlier, Spain kind of eased their way into this tournament. Once they tied Cabo Verde, everybody was like, maybe this Spain team isn't as good. Lamine Yamal didn't start. Then they play Saudi Arabia. Well, that's just Saudi Arabia. Then they barely get by a pretty bad Uruguay team, and you're thinking, I don't know if this is really the Spain team that we know, which is the 2010 team that won all those trophies in the Euros as well. But in that particular game, yes, France felt like the one everybody was going with. They were expected to get to the final against Argentina, so Spain could maybe fly under the radar a little bit. But they clearly proved what a masterclass performance. And now what's as funny is they went from being underdog to probably the favorite in the final.
Yeah. All right then, everybody. It's time for our Zillow expert guidance, looking at Jude Bellingham and how he's led this England side to victory. So he leads this England side. He ranks first in so many areas. 6 goals, which is the most in the squad, 11 shots on target, which is actually first among all attacking midfielders at this year's World Cup. Charlie, do you think Jude is putting in the best performance by an English player in a World Cup ever?
Well, I can't speak forever. I wasn't around for 66, but you know, you talk about Bobby Charlton's of the day. But in terms of in my lifetime watching England, Jude Bellingham has been sensational. And to Lisa's point, to see him have the lung capacity and commitment in Azteca with altitude, having played there, I know it almost feels impossible, but to see what he did from end line to end line for 90 minutes was sensational. On top of that, coming up big in those moments to score the goals, to make the tough tackles. He's showing why he was the guy at Real Madrid and why he went to Real Madrid and why he's wearing the number 10. And remember, at the start, Thomas Tuchel was talking about potentially leaving him out of camps and putting Morgan Rogers as the 10, and maybe he's not going to make the squad, or maybe he's not going to start. He's the best player. and that's, and no disrespect to Harry Kane, because I put Harry Kane at the top too. Jude Bellingham is the most important player for that England side. So kudos to him and what he's been able to accomplish so far.
Lisa, you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Bellingham's been fantastic in what he's been able to do. And I think the narrative coming into this World Cup about a potential snub or not having the team and Thomas Tuchel not having the confidence in Jude Bellingham that Jude Bellingham clearly has proven he has in himself. I think that's lit a fire under him as well to be a game changer in so many of these matches, because he's also proven that when the game calls for it, he's able to come up big in those moments, whether it's getting in hard to a tackle or maybe making that run in behind or playing that pass off, not taking it himself. He's shown that he can be the player that sets other players up in these moments. And when the team needs him, he can take that pressure and go forward with it. I mean, that's why all three of us put him in the segment prior as our player of this tournament, because of what he's been able to do, but also in such a variety of ways and in the biggest moments really step up.
Yeah, everyone on this England side is talking about either Harry Kane or Jude Bellingham. What about their defence? Are you worried about them defensively? They haven't posted the same back four in consecutive matches in this World Cup, Jimmy.
Yeah, and they haven't had a clean sheet since the Austria game. So there are some moments where you can get at them. They've played 4 different right backs. They're still trying to figure out what that looks like, who the best option is based on the opponent, what it's going to look like. There's still a commitment that's there. Everybody's trying to do the job, but there are some areas where I think they can be punished, and I'm curious as to whether Argentina can take advantage of that. Messi's obviously the biggest X factor, but yeah, I do think that they're still a little bit unsettled in terms of what they want to do, where they want to win it, how high up the field. Declan Rice, we're seeing a photo of him now. I don't think he's been 100%. Jed Spence has come on, and when he started, maybe it hasn't actually looked as sharp as when he comes on as a sub for whatever reason. Ezri Konsa's been really solid, but when you put him out wide right, he's not as effective. John Stones is another one that we're seeing here who maybe not at his peak, but when he's in a good, when he's got confidence and feeling healthy, he's obviously a top player and can help. I think he helps you probably the most in transition when you win the ball and you can play out of it. So it really kind of depends on what you're looking to do, and I'm curious as to who Thomas Tuchel elects to start.
I'll add, though, I think I was really skeptical of Jordan Pickford and seeing if he can come up with those moments that keep England in a game or help win a game. And against Mexico in Azteca Stadium, that was the best I've ever seen Jordan Pickford, ever. In an Everton shirt, in an England shirt, more importantly, in an England shirt representing his country, he made those saves that he needed to make, and then he made the saves that he wasn't expected to make. So I think when we're talking about the back line and the goalkeeper, now I have a belief that Jordan Pickford can rise to the occasion, and he's going to need to when you're talking about Argentina, whether it's a set piece, whether it's Messi one-on-one or Julian Alvarez. They have those moments where they're going to get an opportunity on goal, and he has to come up big.
Yeah, on that set piece note, Argentina scored 6 set piece goals in this tournament, more than anybody else. So that is going to be really important for Pickford, not only to own the space, but also to get guys in good spots to solve problems. And that's going to be on the back line, too, to make plays.
Yeah, so that's defensively. What about their wingers, England wingers, Lisa? How important is them to have a big game in this one?
They have to have a big game. And you think about the rotation that we've seen from those players, different ones coming in with injuries that have been plaguing this front line at times, but I think Anthony Gordon should get the start with his efforts that he's been able to do and his ability to go 1v1, to want the ball at his feet. I mean, his performance against Norway with the ball and driving at defenders set him apart. He's willing to put in the work and he's willing to run, and they're going to be huge in this game against Argentina, who play a bit more narrow, who pack the numbers centrally. There's going to be space in the wide areas for England. They have to take advantage of that. That's where the goals, that's where the opportunities are going to come from those wide areas. I think it depends who plays in that front line and who plays in those 2 winger positions, because there are options. We just saw the 4 of them popped up there on that graphic.
For me, I would, in this game, Bukayo Saka is the best winger for England on the right side, without a doubt. He's the best winger in the team when he's healthy. I would start him in this game. And on the opposite side, you always have, do you want someone who's going to give you the work rate, get up and down, be tough defensively, but also just press, versus Marcus Rashford, who is more of a offensive-minded player and can break players down a little bit more than Anthony Gordon can, and a better finisher. With Argentina's outside backs not as strong, I think I'd want Rashford and Saka in this game to start and see, because you know what you're going to get. And if you're talking about a player coming off the bench, well, I think you get a little bit more with Anthony Gordon, given what he did against Congo, coming off the bench and getting 2 assists. And maybe the game opens up to be a little bit more beneficial for Anthony Gordon in transition.
I think what's interesting with regard to this particular game, there's been a few evidence or examples of this throughout the tournament from Argentina. Lisandro Martinez and Cristian Romero bite very hard into midfield. They're going to follow the striker and they're going to go look to kick you. That's just part of their DNA.
Which is Harry Kane's
bread
and butter.
So Harry Kane drops into that space, which means there's going to be channels to run from outside to in. So then I ask you then, do you feel like Anthony Gordon is better at that because he did it successfully against Mexico, which led to the penalty? Or is Marcus Rashford, whoever is going to be wide, that's the cue. Once you see one of them biting hard on Harry Kane, you got to run through that channel.
Well,
and that's going to really
Rashford,
expose.
That's his game. So Marcus
it
Rashford,
could be either one.
If you're talking to me about goals and getting forward and getting that's Marcus Rashford.
Yeah.
Anthony Gordon's in the game. The reason why Anthony Gordon has, I think, made headlines and getting more opportunities is because of his commitment to run off the ball and defend. So if you told me, hey, the game's going to be won by Harry Kane dropping deep and then he's pulling center backs out and now England are getting those opportunities, I want Marcus Rashford getting on the end versus Anthony Gordon.
For me, that's a really good way to expose this Argentina back line.
Okay. Should we look at the projected lineups then, everybody? These starting 11s of who he thinks is going to be playing in this semi-final today. Thomas Tuchel did come out and say we need to man-mark Messi. Charlie, how do you man-mark Messi?
Good luck with that. It's hard.
Messi is a genius. When you're talking about a footballing genius on the pitch and picking up space, I mean, for his entire career, coaches have tried to man-mark him. It's just... he has a knack of playing off your shoulder, and you think you have him in a one spot, and you pick your head up, and he's in a completely different part of the field, and he's in behind on goal. So he unbalances your team. So if you do end up man-marking him, he's incredible at pulling you out of spaces and then getting to the space he wants to get to. So it's got to be a team effort.
Yeah, I agree.
It can't be one person that's responsible for man-marking Messi. For the end of time, people have tried and they've failed.
I feel like people have tried one person, which then just eliminates that player from your team entirely, and Messi still gets the ball because of his ability to float, and he just slowly drifts into the space that he wants to get into when a player is not paying attention. It has to be a group effort. But then to me, that's not necessarily man-marking at times. I don't know. I think you have to almost play it as like a zone man-to-man at times.
I agree with you. It's like a zonal man-marking. So if he drifts over to the right, then whoever's going to pick him up, whoever's playing right back. I feel like you got to stack him up a little bit. So you have someone that's almost always paying attention to, like, how do I stay in front of him? Because that when Argentina wins the ball, he can't be the outlet. If he ends up getting the ball and being the outlet, that's when you get absolutely crushed, because he'll find a way to either dribble out of that pressure or he'll play the one-time pass to somebody who's wide open because of the numerical advantage they have somewhere else. I could be all soccer nerd on you all day about this, but yeah, even though he walks around a lot and is notorious for walking around, there's a lot of genius about what he's doing.
Yeah.
You just got to be physical, super physical, and that's what we've seen from, Cabo Verde, and if you're looking at Egypt, they were super physical with him. But to do it for 90 minutes, that's the problem.
While
he
also
catches you
So
in
much
sleep.
discipline needed for that.
While also England wanting to score, wanting to go forward. They're not going to sit back by any means and just double team him and not really worry about the outlet or only having one or two players. As soon as England gets the ball, they're going to want to go and play. And that's where they could get hurt if their rest defense isn't as sharp as it has to be in this game against Messi. And it's rest defense against Lionel Messi.
I know
That's
Thomas Tuchel is big on rest defense and preventing the counterattack before it happens. So if you're talking about transition with Leo Messi, he's going to be organized, because we know he gets into the weeds. He's a tactical maniac. He's going to figure out a plan of how England prevent Messi from getting balls to his feet, but also when he does float, having whatever players on the weak side coming in to help. The question is, can those players execute for 90 minutes?
Yeah. So we're going to be going position for position, picking who is the better player in that position, England or Argentina. Starting off defensively, Jimmy, you're going to be walking us through the goalkeepers. Are you taking Emi Martinez or Jordan Pickford in this one?
Okay, I know Jordan Pickford's actually played more World Cup games than Emi Martinez, but Emi Martinez has won the competition, and I think that matters. And so I'm going to go with someone that's been there before, made big saves in game and also in penalties. And I think that's going to give him the edge. And
how about that? He's just better goalkeeper.
But you mentioned before that Pickford has made some big saves, especially against Mexico. You're going to need a goalkeeper to make a big save if you're going to get to a World Cup final and to win a World Cup. I mean, Martinez has done it. He's my guy.
Okay, so he gets the vote on that one. Why don't you go to the left-back position, Nico O'Reilly or Nicolás Tagliafico?
So Tagliafico, I think, is one of the weak links for this Argentine team, a little bit older, 33. I'm going to go with Nico O'Reilly. I just think he gives us, I'm not speaking as England here, but he gives England, I know, all of a sudden I'm Hannah Cash all of a sudden. So I think he does a nice job of doing the things that he needs to do defensively, but helps getting forward as a threat on set pieces, and I think he's just a better all-around player at the moment. So I'm going to go with Nico O'Reilly. You like that one, Chuck?
Yeah.
Great.
Right, you're
doing well. I'm getting the approval over here.
You're taking the English, Nico. On to our next one, centre-back pairing here. We've got Marc Guéhi or Martínez.
This is a tough one. I think when it comes to intangibles, I like Lisandro. I think he'll do whatever it takes to win a game. I mean, he'll kick you, he'll punch you, he'll do whatever it takes to make that happen. I think he's a little bit nicer. But overall, I think he's actually probably a more complete defender. So it's a coin flip for me. Can I say both?
No, you cannot.
If not, then I'll go with Guéhi on this one.
Okay, Guéhi on this one.
I disagree.
Okay, reason.
I think Lisandro Martinez, when he puts on that Argentine shirt, is an absolute monster. Small in stature, his presence is massive.
Fair.
So for me, when you're talking about international, in this World Cup, in this competition, Lisandro Martinez leaves it all on the line, and he knows exactly how to defend in this system. He has a great relationship with his keeper. So for me, I would give it to Lisandro.
All right, I respect that. Man City versus Man United. I'm going to lean towards Guéhi
Jimmy's
slightly.
the back
But in terms of intangibles, I agree with everything that Chuck said.
Okay.
He's got that in spades.
But you're going to go for Guéhi?
Yeah. Just like pound for pound, just defensive. None of the other stuff. I'd go with Guéhi.
Okay, on to our next pairing. We have got John Stones or Cuti Romero.
Ooh.
This is a really good one. John Stones hasn't been the John Stones we've seen as of late in the last year or two due to injuries and other things. But Cristian Romero, obviously a red card waiting to happen. I'm going to go with him. I think the leadership that he provides, I just think he's going to be. I could have gone either way on either of these center backs, but I'm going to go with Cristian Romero.
With him.
Charlie, you agreeing?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay.
This guy's, honestly, let me just say it this way. This guy's a bastard. And you need to have bastards in your back line to go on to win anything.
Wow.
You called him Jon Snow. Okay.
Okay. Right back position. Jimmy, who are you picking? Reece James or Molina?
If Reece James is healthy and ready to go, then I got Reece James. I just think he does and provides a lot more for a team than Molina does at this particular moment. Again, I think one of the weaker links for Argentina. This is pretty easy, I'd say.
I feel like you've said weaker links a lot for this Argentina
well,
side.
Well, the outside backs in particular.
Yeah? Okay.
But
Charlie?
I'd lean towards Reece James.
Yeah, Reece James hasn't been at his best this competition. And so, again, Molina, when he puts on the Argentine shirt, he just has this presence. He has a good understanding. They get the most out of him. So if you're telling me within this competition who will have a bigger presence for their team at the moment, I think Molina. But Reece James, we know what he's capable of. It's just, is he going to be 100%?
Yeah.
Okay. Should we see who we've picked then, the back four and the goalkeeper? Quick question. If Konza were to play as right back, would he still be in that squad?
Probably not.
No?
Now, Molina's more of a traditional right back, and I don't see Konza being as comfortable in that spot.
Okay.
But we got, did I go with 3 English defenders?
Yeah.
You did.
3 English.
I might want to switch that.
We can't go back now.
Go back to Lisandro
All right,
Martinez.
let's go to the midfield.
Okay, let's go to the midfield. Right, Charlie, you're doing this one.
Yeah.
Is it going to be Rice or Paredes?
So Declan Rice, and again, I know he's going to play until his hamstrings fall off his bone. But Declan Rice just does so much for this English squad. Box to box, set pieces. I know Paredes has a good understanding of this midfield and fits in well, but Declan Rice takes the cake here.
Yeah, I think it's hard to argue that one.
No, nothing to say. I agree.
Nothing to say. Okay, next one then. Elliot Anderson or Alexis McAllister?
Now, Elliot Anderson has come leaps and bounds from where he was at Nottingham Forest and how he's just matured and grown over this competition. But Alexis McAllister for Argentina is not Alexis McAllister at Liverpool. When he's playing with Argentina, he's been so impressive. A goal and an assist in the last 3 matches in this competition. He's just a top player. He has a great ability to get into the attacking third, late runs out of midfield, the header goal off set pieces. I mean, he can do it all. So for me, I'm going to give it to Alexis McAllister. And there's just something about him when he's playing for Argentina that makes him really tough to deal with.
I think Elliot Anderson's a better passer, right, and can maybe do a little bit more in that type of area. But I agree that kind of the intangibles, coming up with a set-piece goal, I don't see him getting on the end of headers per se. And what he does for that midfield is going to be really important. Not to say he's not going to be important too, but yeah, I give him the slight edge.
Okay, McAllister gets the edge there. On to the final one in the midfield, Bellingham or Fernandes?
It's not even a this
is a great conversation.
Is by far
Jude is clear.
The most lopsided decision here in Jude Bellingham. Enzo Fernandez, he has proven to be an important player for Argentina and Chelsea, but it's Jude Bellingham by miles. Jude is just continuing to grow, and I don't even think we could honestly say what his potential is. He just keeps redefining it with his performances. He's just a special player.
Jimmy, you said it would be a great conversation.
Yeah, I do, because I think Enzo, again, kind of using his rhetoric of when they put on the Argentina shirt, they're just different players. The way that they play and they run and how hungry they are to win for their country and how important it is for them to play for their people, this puts them kind of in this different echelon. Plus, they're defending World Cup champions. That has to have some weight. However, now, maybe before the Mexico game, before he scored the 2 braces, you would say this would probably be a little bit more of a closer comparison in terms of the value to each team. But since then, back-to-back braces and knockout round games, I mean, yeah, it's Jude Bellingham.
Okay, right, let's see what we've got so far then in this starting 11. I can't remember if you had more English or more Argentine.
I think it might.
Let's have a look. Oh, so
We've got a lot of English players.
We've got a lot of English
We got to switch
players.
Lisandro. Can we switch Lisandro into the Guéhi spot?
Production, can we do that? Why don't we do the forwards and we'll give, give them a chance. So you guys are going to be alternating in this one. Who wants to take this? Anthony Gordon or Rodrigo de Paul?
I'm going to go with Anthony Gordon in this one. Rodrigo de Paul, who I think is mainly Messi's bodyguard and does a lot of the thankless dirty work in a way that Anthony Gordon is more of a chance creator. So when I think about attacking players that I know will give me a couple good looks in every game or in each half of each game, I think Anthony Gordon would provide more of that than Rodrigo de Paul, who I do think has a ton of value, but in terms of an attack, I'd go with Anthony Gordon.
And for me, if you told me I'm playing in the World Cup semifinal today, who would I want between the two? I'm taking de Paul all day.
Why
all
is
day,
that?
every day. He has the right mentality. He's a dog. He can, I think, foray into the dark arts if he has to, but he has the quality to win challenges, pick up second balls. He can create goals if he needs to.
He's had a quiet tournament, though.
But for me, if I had to pick between those two players, I'm taking him
to win a
all day.
game.
Is that just because of experience and his grittiness?
Yeah, of course. That plays a big part of this.
Okay, okay. So
But he chose Gordon, so.
Jimmy's picking Gordon. So Charlie, we'll give you this one. Saka or Messi?
He gets all the easy ones.
Do I even need to ask? Like,
Again,
tough decision.
I love Bacasa, but Lionel Messi is Messi. I mean, we're talking about top 2 greatest players of all time. So he's been special even at 39 years old. So I love the fact that he's still dictating games and being the decisive factor in Argentina.
All right, okay, Messi in that one then. Final one, Harry Kane or Julian Alvarez?
Well, if Julian Alvarez continues to score bangers like he did in the last game, then I think he'd be in this conversation a little bit more. But Harry Kane, 6 goals so far in this tournament. He's got a clutch gene. He knows when to step up. And those 2 goals against Congo in particular, when they needed somebody to step up and make plays, I thought were excellent. Anthony Gordon had both of those assists, so that speaks to his value. But yeah, I'm trying to give Julian Alvarez a little bit of love here. He's obviously a top player, but I think Harry Kane's the clear choice.
Perfect opportunity for Alvarez to step up tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big opportunity for Julian Alvarez, but Harry Kane I know we're talking about Jude Bellingham. Harry Kane is literally 1B if Jude is 1A. He's been also sensational. And the second goal against Congo, the amount of power he can get in tight spaces, and he does the thankless work as a number 9, a true captain. So I give Harry Kane a lot of plaudits as well.
Yeah, Julian Alvarez had 4 goals in the 2022 World Cup. And this one, he's only got 1. So maybe this will be a catalyst with that last goal to get a couple more, because Messi's going to need some support.
Okay, so 5 Argentina players, 6 English players.
That feels better. I like this better.
So you guys are kind of saying England have the edge. Really quickly, managers, head coach, Scaloni or Tuchel?
I'm going with somebody that knows how to win trophies. So I got Scaloni.
Yeah, he won the World Cup.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he won Copa America, won World Cup.
Back-to-back Copa Americas.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of World Cup, international football, Scaloni gets the nod.
Guys, it is the day of perhaps one of the most epic semifinals in World Cup history, or so we hope. So I couldn't be better.
Nico, in the previous segment, we did a combined 11 of England and Argentina. What did you make of it?
Yes, I liked it for the most part. May I take some liberties?
Go ahead.
Because I don't think McAllister should be in an 11 for a combined team. But what I'm going to do, if we're choosing between McAllister and Elliot Anderson, in that position, I would probably put Enzo Fernandez. I don't think the golfing class between the two is that incredible. Like Charlie said, between Enzo Fernandez and Jude Bellingham, I think out of all the Argentina midfielders, there are two that have had bright spots in Leandro Paredes and Enzo Fernandez. I think McAllister, despite the goal and the assist, has had a questionable World Cup alongside Rodrigo de Paul. And a lot of the questions in Argentina have been about their performances and if they need to come out of the team in order to have a little bit more collective play against England, because epic victories alone can't just take you to a World Cup final. You have to have a little bit better football and better quality. So we'll see if Scaloni changes. So if I were to change something on the 11, it would be that, and probably have the two Argentine center backs.
All right, let's talk then. I ultimately agree with you. I regret not having Lisandro Martinez in there initially. Nico, let's talk about how Argentina is going to slow down Jude Bellingham and Harry Kane, who have 12 of England's 13 goals. Marcus Rashford has the other one. What do you think you're going to see from Scaloni, and how will they approach this game maybe differently than they have with the other knockout round games?
Great question. I have no idea. How do you stop a Jude Bellingham who constantly rises to the occasion, right? It's going to have to be, to a certain degree, a game that gets scrappy, right? Not allow England to play on the ball, not allow England to dictate. There comes in your Leandro Paredes, your Rodrigo de Paul, these guys with experience that know how to not have a game get out of their hands. But at this World Cup, there have been several moments already where the game has slipped through their fingers and they've had to rally back in epic fashion or see a red card on the opposition like Briel and Bolo did for the match to swing back in their favor. That's why I've been insisting that Argentina has to show, to a certain degree, better collective play, better football, because England, I think, also hasn't been at their best, but has been showing a little bit more than Argentina. And the key today won't just be the epic emotional nature of this matchup. I think they're going to have to show a little bit better play, especially control of matches with persistence and insistence, because this constant recycling of the ball without being purposeful has really hurt Argentina.
So, Nico, talk to me about Argentina in terms of, let's say they lose to England. How would you categorize this campaign? How would you sum it up, given Cape Verde game? You know, they let Cape Verde get into that game and score some incredible golazos. The Egypt game,
yeah.
Not the complete dominance that maybe you would expect from defending champions in a semifinal.
Yeah, I take it you don't like Argentina's campaign at the World Cup, Charlie.
No, it's been incredible. It's been entertaining. But if you told me, is this proper football and defending and not giving up opportunities, then I'd say we're not seeing Spain in terms of their performances.
Right. Yeah, I do agree, Chuck, to a certain degree that Argentina hasn't been at their best. They've been far from their ceiling, and they've had questionable performances. And it's funny because if you had the moment to sit down with Scaloni and say, listen, Lionel, I would change X, Y, Z. And he says, yeah? Look at this. 6 wins from 6. We're the team that scores the most goals at the World Cup. What are you going to change? You know, it's difficult because I do think Argentina has dropped and they've suffered more than you've thought. And especially coming up against opposition that, let's be honest, has been second and third tier. This is the first time that Argentina is really testing themselves against top opposition. And maybe it clicks today, maybe it doesn't. But overall, Chuck, if you just grab the World Cup in an echo chamber, yes, I don't think Argentina has been at their best, but they've arrived at a semifinal. And then when you take a macro perspective, Chuck, it's 3 semifinals in the last 4 World Cups. That hasn't happened since 1978 to 1990. In that same span, Argentina played in 3 finals. This, what we're seeing, is not normal. There's a lot of young Argentines that might perceive it as normal. But this persistence at a World Cup, at several World Cups, is has to be cherished. And whatever the result is today, I think Argentinians would walk away being reminiscent and happy about this extraordinary run under Messi and this generational change.
So it's a success, regardless if they win or lose.
Yeah, I think so. Chuck, World Cup semifinal for a team that hasn't even been playing well. I think they're where they've arrived at the World Cup, like their final position, I don't think is reflective of their football, but they're here anyway.
Yeah.
Nico, yesterday you went to an Argentina banderazo. I saw you tweeted that it was the biggest one you've witnessed in America. What was that like?
Oh, it was extraordinary. People are on edge. I know that Lionel Scaloni has really played down the historical significance of this match, just given the political history between the two countries. And I think the players, obviously, anything that happens on the field won't affect anything diplomatically. But for the Argentine people, there is something there, right? There's a very strong emotional pull. And for an entire generation that was even too young to have remembered 2002, especially with that World Cup being on the other side of the globe, for them, this is their first Argentina-England. There aren't too many rivalries. I would say this is really the only transatlantic rivalry that pits together two behemoths of the football world that have this contempt for each other, given their history. So, although for the footballers, yes, it might just be a football match, for the Argentina fans, at least, the history, the imperial history of England and Argentina's military history as well is very present. And Maradona became an icon before he even won the World Cup. He entered into a legendary tier as an Argentine figure by just having beat England in the quarterfinals of the 1986 World Cup. So, for the Argentine people, for the public perception of Messi, I know he doesn't need to do anything really to convince us that he's already the GOAT. But imagine that he adds this badge to his repertoire, having beat England. What if he scores? I think it would catapult him even higher, if he even can possibly go higher. I'm just talking about the public perception within Argentine culture.
Yeah, that's really interesting to hear about that perspective, and the event yesterday, it looked super cool. Of course, you have to take it one game at a time, one day at a time, but knowing how Spain absolutely dominated France yesterday, Spain will be in the final. How do you rate Argentina or England's chances against Spain, knowing how great they were yesterday in the semi?
Yeah, Spain are a very difficult team to play against because they like to dictate, and you saw England suffering against Norway in the long bouts of possession when they didn't have the ball. So I'd be interested to see how they fare with a Spain in a final, and Argentina as well. Argentina, I think, out of the 4 teams has been the least convincing up until this point. But then you have to add all of these X factors that you can't really jot down and analyze in stats. Argentina has a championship edge that no other team has. Yes, perhaps Spain, because they won the Euros. That might help them along the way. But it's incredible to see how, despite the great game that Spain played, I don't want to downplay their victory, but France crumbled under pressure yesterday. And these high-level matches can be decided on a nervous player here or there, something going off the rails for 1 second. When a team is dominating, just take the 2022 World Cup final into consideration. Argentina, through 80 minutes, was playing one hell of a final. It was a clinic against France. You would have never thought. And then Mbappe scores 2 goals, and Argentina were on edge through 120 minutes. They managed to recover. But football is football. Anything can happen. Perhaps both teams say, oh, I fancy our chances a little bit more against Spain, but it's a World Cup final, and, you know, at the end of the day, at least, I really don't think that matters whatsoever.
Thanks for watching this video from Morning Footy. For all news and insights regarding leagues around the world like EFL, Serie A, and all UEFA competitions, both men's and women's, don't forget to sign up for Paramount+.